Today we'll be discussing ConocoPhillips UK. From Team Stephanie, I'm Stephanie.
Malikia.
Fahad.
We will be discussing in our presentation today a brief history of ConocoPhillips. We will talk about the history of ConocoPhillips UK. We will conduct a BRIO analysis. We will talk about ConocoPhillips UK today, going forward what is next, and we will conclude with a SWOT analysis. So brief history of ConocoPhillips. Isaac Elder Blake forms the Continental Oil and Transportation Company in 1875. Brothers Frank and Ellie Phillips found success in oil drilling, which led them to establish the Phillips Petroleum Company in 1917. E.W. Marlin of Marlin Oil Company became successful in finding oil in the Midwest in 1911, which allowed him to own 1/10 of the world's oil reserves by 1922. However, due to a fall in oil profits, financier J.P. Morgan Jr. ousted Marlin as president since he had previously extended his line of credit to $5 million and replaced him with former Texaco executive Dan Moran in 1928.
The Continental Oil and Transportation Company and Maryland Oil capitalized on their tangible and intangible resources and capabilities when the two corporations decided to merge into Continental Oil Company, also known as Conoco. Phillips Petroleum Company had tangible resources and technology. They were also the first to develop market propane for home heating and cooking, extended portfolio to include aviation department and designed first aviation refueling trucks, and expanded to refining and retailing capacities, which led to their acquisition of the independent oil and gas company.
The two major oil and refining companies, Conoco and Phillips Petroleum, did not officially merge to be known as ConocoPhillips until 2002.
ConocoPhillips enjoyed the perks of being late mover to the region because by 1964 the gas field had been already discovered. It allowed for ConocoPhillips to further develop their technology for oil and gas discovery.
ConocoPhillips participated in licensing deals with UK government. UK and the US hold similar cultural norms. Both countries are individualistic and are considerably low context culture. This enabled Conoco, US-based company, which is the home country, to slowly enter international market in the UK, the host country. Conoco took advantage of location-specific advantages made available by Royal Dutch Shell.
So as previously stated, Conoco expanded internationally in the 1960s and 70s. Conoco demonstrated late mover advantages once the North Sea exploration had boomed after the Royal Dutch Shell had discovered Sloteren gas field in Grange in Holland. There were formal institutions in place that prolonged Conoco's ability to enter into this European market because of the Geneva Convention on the shelf areas of the North Sea and other northwestern European waters. The convention required 22 countries to ratify it, and the UK in 1964 was the 22nd country to ratify it. The informal institutions that were in place from the European industries and countries allowed for Conoco to catch up, so to speak, with the location-specific advantage that these institutions did not immediately recognize the discovery made by Royal Dutch Shell. But by 1972, Conoco was a dominant force in the northern UK North Sea region. Conoco had officially demonstrated their dominance in the North Sea with the industry's first tension lake platform, which was known as Hutton TLP in 1984. And in 2006, ConocoPhillips completed the acquisition of Burlington Resources to grow its foreign investment portfolio of gas reserves and to include East Irish Sea operations in the UK. We conducted a BRIO analysis of ConocoPhillips UK, and we discovered that the value, or we questioned, is the value of their discoveries, is there value in it? And we've discovered that yes, the oil and gas industry is valuable due to the innumerable ways that we can utilize these natural resources. Are their discoveries rare?
Yes, until 1959, oil and gas finds have been relatively minor in the region. Conoco discovered much of oil and gas in their region.
Are there discoveries or are there technologies, the ways that they find oil and gas, is it imitable? Unfortunately, the answer is yes, because ConocoPhillips uses common technology to search and discover oil and gas within the region. They use seismic programs, fracking, they dig wells. All those are similar technologies and similar methods used by other oil and gas companies. But is their organizational structure easily replicated?
No. The organization has leveraged existing operation, infrastructure, and basin experience to create an incremental growth project in the North Sea.
ConocoPhillips UK today, quote, "Today, Our integrated asset portfolio, talented workforce, and long-term strategic plan have us poised for future growth in the production of bitumen, natural gas liquids, light oil, and natural gas." End quote.
In 1986, all U.S. companies regained their interest in this field in 2005, and from 2011 till December 2014, production had been severely impacted by ongoing labor strikes, blockades of export terminals, deterioration in security affecting Libya. Even the civil war of recent attacks on the port by Syrian rebels.
ConocoPhillips in the UK is redirecting interest from southern North Sea to Libya for oil and gas production. The company has an interest in Waha concession in the Sirte Basin. Conoco originally held some equity in the oil production through Oasis Oil Company, which consisted of a consortium of Conoco, Marathon, and Amerada Hess. Conoco had a joint venture minority of 16.33% equity.
So as previously stated, the company has an interest in a concession in Libya, but they currently conduct operated assets in Europe to include the Greater Britannia, J area, and southern North Sea in fields in the UK, and they also have a Greater Ekofisk area in Norway. Quote, "After 45 years of production from the southern North Sea, the focus of activity has now changed to decommissioning, beginning with the Viking area, which had ceased production in 2016. End quote. ConocoPhillips UK, going forward, what is next? As of recent news, ConocoPhillips UK is set to cut 450 jobs from October 1st of this year to April of 2020. They are said to follow a voluntary redundancy program due to the end of the southern North Sea production through the Dettelthorpe gas terminal later this year. ConocoPhillips currently employs 1,300 staff and contractors in the UK, which is now going to be removing 450 jobs from that region. Quote, "We laid out a 2018 plan a few months ago that was based on a $50 per barrel WTI prices. So the prices have moved quite a bit higher since then. So the obvious question is, will our plan change? The answer is no. Not with respect to our organic investment plan. Our $5.5 billion capital plan is unchanged from what we outlined in November. Of course, that excludes the bolt-on transaction in Alaska we announced this morning for $400 million. This is a very, very attractive transaction that allows us to consolidate our existing position on the western North Slope, where we have an ongoing development activity and exciting 2018 exploration program currently underway." End quote. This is a quote from Ryan Lance, the CEO of ConocoPhillips, discussing our plan going forward and also overviewing the results from the 2017 Q7 results.
ConocoPhillips is releasing money of the location, specifically advantages present in the UK and European region, are not producing as much as previous years. Among their things, ConocoPhillips is a natural resource-seeking firm, which is why ConocoPhillips has invested in drilling wells in Alaska. Around the same time, the company had publicly announced the plan to cut 450 employees and jobs in the UK.
So finally, we will conclude with a SWOT analysis. We've noticed that the foreign direct investments that ConocoPhillips UK gets themselves involved in are actually their strengths. Those foreign direct investments include joint ventures, licensing, and acquisitions. But we have realized that the weaknesses of this region-specific company is the limited natural resources in that region. So oil and gas, that's going to be a limited resource, so that is a weakness on their part. And the recent news on the job cuts in UK is definitely going to be a weakness.
The opportunities are organization culture, expansion in Alaska, oil reserves in Libya, but there is a threat, the loss of opportunity in the southern North Sea, jobs retention in UK, and hostilities in Libya.
And our recommendations include continuing to foster positive organizational culture, continue to form alliances, and capitalize on Rio framework.
We've noticed that the recommendations that we put in place are going to be positive for ConocoPhillips UK because they are great at fostering alliances with different organizations, different regions. They have a positive organizational culture. They're constantly seeking new regions and areas where they can expand the oil and gas reserve portfolio. And we know that based on our FRIO analysis, that they have a successful plan and a successful organization that's going to help them propel forward. Thank you for your time. This has been Team Stephanie. I'm Stephanie.
Malikia.
Fahad.
Thank you for your time.